Hello, are we here? Yes, perfect. My microphone is working. Thank you so much for coming here today. We are live, y'all. We are live, and I'm super excited to be back here once again. Today is January 20th. This is day 20. Yes, day 20 of going live for 30 days. So we are already on day 20. Can you believe it? Literally, January 20th is already here. It feels like we just said Happy New Year and we are already at January 20th. So let's go ahead and jump into it. We are talking about facing childhood messages and the messages that you have absorbed over your lifetime about love. So let's go ahead and jump into that. Um, Childhood messages about love and what they do to us and how they impact us with showing up in our lives, in our love lives in particular. So, childhood messages about love are deeply rooted beliefs, ideas, and narratives that take shape during our formative years or younger years. They are like invisible scripts written by the experiences that we witness and the lessons that we absorb, whether directly taught to us by our parent or guardian, or we just seen them be implied and now we're taking them on. These messages can often stem from observing family dynamics, the cultural norms, and the behaviors of the caregivers or authority figures in our lives. Again, as I mentioned, when we were younger. So they can be as explicit as hearing love means putting others first, or as implicit as sensing tension in your home where affection was rarely expressed to you and or to your loved ones inside of the home. And when this occurs over time, these messages build the foundation for how you understand love, how you navigate relationships, and how you define your role within these romantic relationships. These early influences are powerful. They are powerful for better or for worse and can become the lens through which you view yourself and how you connect to other people, including but not limited to your significant other. Positive messages may lead to healthy relationship patterns, while harmful ones, such as associating love with sacrifice or fear or instability, can perpetuate cycles of pain or dysfunction. Recognizing and addressing these childhood messages is essential to breaking such cycles, rediscovering your worth, and fostering connections rooted in mutual respect and authenticity. By taking this critical step, you empower yourself to rewrite your narrative and to create healthier, more fulfilling vision of what your love life can be. So, again, that is all about childhood messages and the messages that you absorbed about love. So, thanks for stopping by. I'm Marshawn Alanio. I am a shift relationship strategist where I serve Black women, professional Black women in particular, and helping them to show up differently in all of their relationships using tailored strategies so they can cultivate healthy relationships. And I say relationships because most people think about romantic relationships. It's not only about relationships, romantic relationships. It really is about the relationship that you have with yourself. The foundation that you create with yourself, the relationship that you have with yourself, is absolutely going to play a part in the relationship that you have with other people, especially again, but not limited to your partner. So, absolutely, all of this stuff is playing a part in your life. It's playing a part in your relationship. And again, as I just mentioned, your romantic relationship. All of these things are shaping you. Your experiences have shaped you. Your parent or guardian, the messages that they were sending to you directly or even indirectly is currently affecting you. And so, here's what those childhood messages could look like or could have looked like, where you observe dysfunctional patterns, witnessing toxic arguments, or maybe neglect, or even conditional love. such as you may believe that love is chaotic or requires self-sacrifice in order to earn the other person's affection. Not true, but this may be one of the childhood messages that you got programmed into you believing. So observing dysfunctional patterns could be one of them. Another thing could be that you absorb verbal and or nonverbal cues, such as phrases like love is tough, or actions like withholding affection in terms of punishment or trying to punish the other person. And all of this may lead you to equate love with hardship or unworthiness. So all of that is playing a part in shaping the way that you are showing up in your life, the messages that you may not even realize that you absolutely did receive, and that you may even continue to pass down, not only from yourself, right? So it's passed down to you. Now you're doing said things, and now you maybe have passed them down to your own child or children yourself. The negative, toxic things that we are doing that's keeping us stuck, that is not helping us move to the next level in our relationships, specifically our romantic ones. So observing dysfunctional behaviors, absorbing verbal and nonverbal cues. And then the third one is internalizing the role, or the role that you think you should play within a relationship. So a child who felt the need to be the peacemaker, right? If that's you, maybe you're the peacemaker with all of your friends, or even in your own romantic relationship, you find yourself taking on that particular role, maybe. Or you could have been the caretaker when you were growing up in your household, and so you felt the need to take care of everybody, and now that role has carried over into your romantic relationships, and so you may attract people deem you deem as needy, but you feel like them needing you is okay. I can take care of this person. You know that role. You wore that hat, and you have worn it well, and you can show up in that particular role as the caretaker. And so maybe that's your role that you are accepting, thinking that you have to fix everybody and even suppress your own needs. So that's the third one. The fourth one is normalizing emotional avoidance, where if vulnerability was dismissed or punished within your household when you were growing up, you might struggle to express your feelings and or to connect emotionally. There's always some distance between you and your romantic partner, or even between you and your friendships. You want the relationship to be deeper than it actually is, and maybe you can't put a handle on why it's not deeper like you want it to be. And so maybe you're struggling with some of these childhood messages about love that you internalized and didn't even realize that's what was happening with you, and pointing them out to you now, maybe like, oh dang, that's me. I actually have done that. I had no idea that this was um, served to me on a platter, basically, and you took it on as your own. No. So, how do these messages impact you? How do these messages impact you? One of the first things is that you start to sabotage relationships, romantic relationships, platonic relationships, right? Your familial relationships. You start to sabotage these relationships. Again, the toxicity that you have taken on and worn as a badge of honor, not realizing that it is killing any chances of you having a healthy relationship, especially if you have taken on the negative traits. If you grew up in that environment and then you have rebuked those negative traits, then obviously I'm not speaking to you in this manner. However, if you grew up in there and now you're mimicking these toxic habits and behaviors, they're not serving you, and that may be why you are stuck. So you are sabotaging your relationships. You're repeating these patterns, likely staying in toxic behavior, toxic relationships, or you may be avoiding intimacy outright for fear of being rejected yourself. So there is that. That's how the pattern is messing with you. You may be struggling with self-worth, right? Associating love with validation from others, which may lead to people pleasing or staying in unfulfilling dynamics. I remember when I was in this relationship and I didn't realize that this was in play. And I was just like, well, I probably should stay a little while longer just to see. Like, am I tripping? Maybe I'm tripping. And come to find out, long story short, I stayed longer than I should have stayed. I should have left long time ago. And the behavior, the habits, the behaviors, no matter how much I had to try to have a conversation with this particular person, the same habits, the same toxicity was still there. And then I had to make a decision to stay or to go. I decided to go. So there's that. But maybe struggling with your self-worth because I'm getting older, or I don't want to start all over, or we were about to get married, or we were about to have kids, or I'm pregnant with the child. Like, it's a whole bunch of stuff that goes in to play when you're thinking about maybe leaving, and or the messages that were embedded in you as to why you need to stay in this unhealthy relationship. Again, bringing all of this talk about the messages that you received while you were growing up and how it's playing a part in helping you or harming you in your romantic relationships. Another thing is that you have difficulties or may have difficulty setting and enforcing boundaries because you are fearing abandonment or conflict itself, which results in tolerating mistreatment. You don't have to tolerate being mistreated. You do have to own and step into your worth. It is absolutely a thing that is a must in order for things to continue to occur in a healthy manner. All right. So, how do you move away from these harmful beliefs, these harmful, toxic behaviors that is keeping you stuck on the hamster wheel, not going anywhere, attracting the same person over and over again? Well, we're not doing that anymore. As I talked about before, 2025, we are doing things differently. So, how do we stop with these harmful beliefs, these harmful behaviors? The first thing to do is to identify them and acknowledge them. Reflect on your childhood experiences and think about the messages that help to shape your view of love. What were some of the things, what were some of the things that were said that you took on and believed, specifically the negative ones? Specifically the things that your parent or guardian kept saying over and over again about how all men are this or all men do that, or it was some type of messages that have been embedded in you that is keeping you stuck and attracting the same people that your parent or guardian told you was out there, because they're out there, but they're not the only people that are out there. There are absolutely men out there that want healthy romantic relationships that will treat you right, but your belief system is keeping you stuck in attracting the same type of toxic person or man that your parent or guardian whispered in your ear year after year, decade after decade. And now you believe the thing that they said because that's who you keep attracting, which is why you keep believing the thing. Your brain wants you to win. I'm not going to go too deep into that. Just know that your brain wants you to win. So the thing that you keep saying, your belief, is why you keep attracting that same thing. Your beliefs are helping you attract the thing, whether it's toxic or positive, does not matter. Your brain is helping you do that. It's helping you to win. Okay, so we just gonna move forward on that. Another way to move away from these harmful beliefs is to challenge your harmful narratives, asking yourself questions like, is this belief about love true? So, like, do all men really cheat? Do all men really want fill in the blank? Do all men really do? Do all men really like really challenge these narrative, these negative narratives in your life, asking yourself questions like, does this serve the kind of relationship that I want? That could be a question, right? Replacing these limiting beliefs with affirmations like love is respectful and reciprocal is going to help you to rewrite your belief system. It's going to help you rewrite it, but you have to start speaking words of affirmation. And this is words of affirmation about love, because maybe your viewpoint about love, your belief system about love is screwed up, for lack of a better term. It's screwed up. But you can't see this screwed up because this is the thing that you've been doing this whole time. The thing that you don't realize is keeping you stuck. your viewpoint of how relationships should be or where you should be at because of your age, right? All of these things are keeping you right where you're at. All of these things are not allowing you to attract the person that you want to truly be in your life. So, challenge your harmful narratives. Also, you have to heal through action and awareness. What does that mean? Seeking things like coaching and therapy. I've talked about that a few times here. Working with a professional who can help to unpack your unresolved feelings and guide you toward healthier patterns is going to help you faster, much faster, like 10 to 20, 10 to 20 times faster for you to really get to where you really truly want to be, which is on the other side, which is actually attracting healthier, qualified men who really want to be a part of your life. But in order to do that, you have to be willing to invest your time, energy, and your money into getting the help, because what you've been doing has not been helping you, which is why you are still attracting the same, which is why you don't have what you truly want, the type of man, the type of relationship that you aspire to have, that you secretly dream about being a part of. But you have to be willing to do the work and make the investment, and understanding that this is not an overnight thing. This is not a quick fix, because it took you decades to get to where you're at. And so it's going to take a little while to start to rewire and rewrite your belief system, as well as the way that you are thinking about things, and open up your eyes to a new way of living slash thinking slash believing. All of that plays a part. It's not an overnight thing. So therapy or coaching is one of the things. And then in that therapy and coaching, you should be getting some type of new behaviors or new habits to start to implement into your life. So when you are out there on these dates, now you can start doing things differently. You can start looking for more positivity. You can say, I'm going to have a great date out here, instead of saying, why am I going anyway? Dragging your feet. You may even arrive late, and then you don't even have the energy where you're stimulating the other person. And they're like, what the heck? Well, why did she even come out? Like, she said yes to the date. I thought we were doing fine going back and forth over the app or on the phone and exchanging numbers or even via text. And now we meet in person and she dry. Why did she come out on a date? So don't do that to yourself. You have to practice these new habits and behaviors in order for them to become a part of your everyday, in order to rewrite your narrative, to get rid of some of that toxicity that has been implanted on you, literally implanted within you without you even knowing it. You've been programmed a certain way, and all of us get programmed. It's not just in this area, it's not just in this arena. All of us get programmed in some way. All of us get programmed in some way. So it's not just this. But what are you willing to do today in order to get something different tomorrow? You have to work. You have to do something different today in order to get a different tomorrow. You have to. But you got to start today to do something different in order for tomorrow to look different, to be different, for you to have a completely different life. All right. The fourth way to remove these harmful beliefs is to surround yourself with positive examples. Listen, if your friendship circle, if everybody in your friendship circle is negative Nancy, they always have something negative to say, they lean toward the negative, or they more pessimistic than they are optimistic about their lives, and definitely about your life. They hardly have anything positive to say to you, let alone to add to your life. Then it is time for you to start looking for a new circle. Remove yourself slowly but surely, or cut it off cold turkey. But at some point, you have to surround yourself with like-minded people. If you are trying to grow, you have to get around people that are trying to grow. It may not be relationally, but it does have to be people that are growing in their life. They are sick and tired of being sick and tired. They are sick and tired of being stuck in the same thing. And it may not be in this realm, although it can be in this realm. This is why I started group coaching, because in group coaching, It's like-minded Black women in there that are all trying to do something different in their lives. And because I work in the relationship realm, we are working on our relationship, the relationship with ourselves, as well as our romantic relationships. If they're not in a romantic relationship, then we're solely working on them unless they are ready to take that step out there to date. Then we discuss the possibility of a potential partner. But everything is about you. You have to get you together before you think about jumping into another relationship. In 2025, slow things down so you stop doing the same thing over and over and over again. It is now time to do something different. It's time. It's time. It's time. It's just a matter of, are you willing to take that step to invest in yourself, as I mentioned earlier? Are you ready to take that time? Are you willing to look yourself in the face and actually deem what you are not doing right and actually accept your flaws and be willing to do something about them, meaning to change them, to invest in learning the new habits and the new behaviors? But you have to be ready. You have to be ready, because I am what you call a root cause coach. What does that mean? That is where I'm not just giving you relationship advice on the symptoms. I want to figure out the why. What is your root cause? Why are you doing these things? Why do you think it's okay to speak this way? Why do you think it's okay to speak down to not only him, but to yourself? Why do you think it's okay to put yourself down? Why do you think it's okay for you to accept mediocre behavior? So let's go deeper. It's not just superficial. Oh, you two are arguing. Well, let's talk about how to argue better. Yes, we can talk about that, but let's talk about why you think that arguing is the best way to get your point across or to be heard. Did you not feel heard when you were younger? Were you always silenced, where you didn't have a voice? Maybe that's why you feel that you have to argue or bark or get your point across in that way. Is that why you act like that? Right? So I'm not just superficial coaching. I want to know why you are acting the way that you are acting. Why are you showing up in this manner? Why do you think that this is okay? Why do you think that the behaviors are okay? Why do you believe this about yourself? Why do you believe this about men? Let's go deeper. Let's go deeper. Because once you understand the why, once you understand why you look at life this way, why you show up in life this way, why you react to things this way, why do you let things trigger you? When you understand all of those things, now and only now can we start to rewrite your narrative. You cannot do it with just the superficial. You have to go deeper. This is that deeper inner work. And this is what a lot of people run away from. That deeper work. They run away from the deeper work because it's not easy. There may be some tears shed. Vulnerability is a must, but you have to be ready for it. And everybody's not ready for it. And I understand that. But you do have to be ready for it, because once it comes, you have to answer the call. If you say you're ready, you got to answer the call. Okay. So surround yourself with positive examples. If you need to start to fall back on this circle and do different things, change your hobbies, do something that you really want to do in order to start to create another circle, then you need to do that. If you need to join some type of coaching or some type of personal growth in order to be around like-minded people, then do that. But the point is, if you're not around positive people right now in your life, the same toxic habits and same toxic behaviors that you're used to doing, you're absolutely going to continue doing it, because there is nobody there to hold you to the fire. There's nobody there that's going to hold you accountable. There's nobody there that's going to say, hey, Sheila, okay, so I heard you complaining. Now, what are you willing to do differently? Okay, so what was your part in it? I heard what he did, but what about you? Do you have anybody in your circle that's going to call you to the fire? And if you don't, you're going to remain stuck. There is no growth in hanging around toxic people when you're trying to grow. It's just not going to work. It's just not going to work. The fifth way to move away from these harmful behaviors is to practice forgiveness and compassion. Forgive yourself and those who influence your childhood messages. They didn't mean it. We didn't even know, excuse me, they didn't even know what they was doing when they were programming us. You do have to recognize that they did the best they did the best that they could with the information that they had at the time. See, now we have access to so much information. It's just so easy to get the information. And nowadays we're able to see some of the effects that all of the toxicity that we were bringing in or that was being taught to us. Now we can see the effects because now we're adults and they have a lot of research on all of this. And so a lot of us as adults are trying to rewrite or trying to create new narratives so we're not passing down this toxicity to the next generation or generations. So it's happening, but we need it to happen at a faster pace so we don't have to worry about passing down this negativity to our children, to our grandchildren, and even our great grandchildren. So with that being said, this is what the negativity about love looks like when you have been absorbing all of these negative messages and it's been messing with your belief system and you didn't even realize that's what was happening. We have been programmed our entire lives to look at most things as negative. And I want you to just think right now. Just give yourself about 10, 20 seconds. Think of all of the people in your life that have said the majority about love is a positive thing. If you know 5 to 10 people, I want you to say it I know 5 to 10 people that is nothing but pure positivity when it comes to love. Most of us don't have people in our life that feel that positive about love, romantic love, and what love can do, look like, feel like in our lives. If you do, please post it. But I'm sure it's going to be a rarity. But that's why you need to change your circle. That's why you have to rewrite your own narrative. That's why you have to start absorbing positivity. That's why you have to start speaking life and love into yourself, because nobody is going to do it for you. It is a must that you do it for yourself. Childhood messages about love for many of us were not positive. A lot of us grew up in toxic families, toxic households. And so if you want to rewrite your own narrative, you have to do something different. You have to get around a crowd of people that believe and see love as positive, as well as the possibility that it can happen to you and for you, because you deserve it. You deserve it. But you have to believe that you deserve it. So what have your childhood messages said to you? What have your childhood messages said to you about men? What have your parent or guardian specifically, or even auntie, right, said to you about men in love, about men with women? And what does that narrative say? So I want you to know, what's one childhood lesson about love that you still hold on to that is not serving you? Share your story if you're brave enough in the comments, or message me privately at my email, marshawn@marshawnolanio.com. If you're on YouTube, it is in the description area. So let's start the conversation and how we can rewrite the narrative about your beliefs on love and how you can see it as more positive than negative. I love you guys, and there's nothing that you can do about it. And I will see you on the next live stream. Good night.